everyone? Spot of Nerd here with, quite frankly, one of the most unique episodes that I will ever do on this channel. Quite similar to, we did a review a couple months ago now, maybe a year ago, I'm not sure, I forget when it came out first. Lady Ballers. And as you might imagine, the movie that we're going to review today has quite the controversy. We're going to review Matt Walsh's latest in his, you might even call it a trilogy in his franchise. We're going to review Am I Racist? ? So, bear with me. This is going to be very interesting, but I think it's also very important because obviously if you're not familiar with who Matt Walsh is, go look him up. He's a part of the Daily Wire, spokesperson, other stuff. I am going to have to tread extremely lightly in this episode, so you're going to have to bear with me, but I just want to simply start it off with, this is truly probably one of the most amazing comedies that I have ever seen in my entire life. And I truly, truly, truly mean that. Broken record, Spot of Nerd, that's just who we are. So, brace yourself, folks, as we sort of kind of talk about the film, but at the same time, you know where I'm coming from in regards to the subject matter of the film. I'm pretty confident, if you know me, if you're a subscriber, supporter, my viewpoints, I'm pretty confident you can understand why I thought this was a truly, I've said truly about 40 times now, great film. And we'll get into some of the details of it, but you will have to bear with me because number one, there's going to be spoilers, but number two, I've said this a bazillion times, I also have a job. And that job provides me good money, and it provides me medical benefits. So, whenever Matt Walsh does a film, hence his previous film, Lady Ballers, as well as What is a Woman, has stirred up some controversy in relation to those topics. You can imagine. I've said imagine 20 times now. So, before we get started, obviously, huge thanks and love for all the support for Spot of Nerd. I would love you so much. And if anything, this will probably might even retract some of those subscribers. But if you haven't already, and you have the heart, and you want to take pity out of me, I would love you so much if you could hit that subscribe button right down below. Give me the thumbs up. Let me know your comments. Have you seen it? Are you even going to bother to see it? Because I'm pretty sure most people won't, for obvious reasons. But I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go see it. Because, yeah, I have my own values. I have my own opinions. And quite frankly, the way the world is right now, the way Matt Walsh delivers content in this format, whether it's a movie, whether it's through the Daily Wire material, you can't deny it. You cannot deny what he is portraying, and you can't deny sometimes it's a little bit odd. Like I said, gonna have to tread so lightly here because, yeah, I don't want to get anything, Briefly to talk about the cancel culture, as you might imagine, there are other reviewers out there that have reviewed this film. Some nerdrotic, critical drinker, they all already get destroyed from certain groups of individuals because of the material that they present. I don't see any issue with it. It's simply a review of a film. But most recently, another pretty big reviewer, you might know him, Jeremy Johns, if I'm saying his last name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. And he actually gave a review of Am I Racist? And got destroyed, again, by a certain group of individuals calling him a shocking racist. Oh my god, I did not see that coming at all. Wow. But so much credit where it's due, because although he is a big channel, his entire channel is about reviews of movies. This one, of course, he said it was a good film. Like, maybe not directly, but he is essentially saying that Matt Walsh's Am I Racist is a fun film. It's a comedy. It's what it is. But the bottom line is, if that upsets you to the point of this man needs to be canceled and he needs to be taken off social media and destroy him and everything in between, that's where I get to the point of being more, I've said this in the past, people like myself and others need to start speaking up to that, because if we are going to live in a world of inclusion and diversity, that also has to include inclusion and diversity of thought. We used to be able to do that. Some of us, there are unicorns out in the world right now, still have that ability. Meaning, you can have an opinion about something, I can have the complete opposite opinion about something, hypothetically, that is completely within the realm of human society, respectful, not hateful, not discriminatory, so on and so forth. But we can still be human people. We can still respect each other, and regardless of what we believe, what our morals are, etc., so on and so forth, we can still move on with life knowing, okay, cool, you think that, I think this, move on. End of story. It's really, really that simple. His entire, like, it is a comedy. These movies are cringe at the same time, but they are genuinely a comedy film, because he is going out into this world, the real world, and he is, I gotta think of word choices here. He is showing us the reality of certain groups, of certain beliefs, of certain types of individuals that think a certain way. Obviously, the main focus being around DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Now, being a smart individual who has a job and a paycheck, I ain't even gonna touch that, because I'm pretty confident, as I said in the beginning of this video, pretty confident you can understand where I lie. So we ain't gonna get into that. But I will get into some of the most amazing things about this film. So a little bit of a spoiler here. It starts off with Matt going to, again, a group of individuals coming together to discuss a topic. That topic, yeah, he's not really wanted there because of his viewpoints. It would be as if I go to that group and somehow somebody knew me and they knew my beliefs and was like, get the fuck out. It's hilarious. It really, really is, because, again, it's the actual counterintuitive or opposite of this whole idea that everybody's welcome, self-identity, so on and so forth. Kind of the opposite if you're not really allowed to be anywhere near it. So, lo and behold, and he moves forward from there. So, the fact that people know who he is, obviously he disguises himself. He puts on a disguise just so that he can learn more about the DEI culture, the society the way it is right now, blah, 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 blah. Just like he did in What is a Woman. He's interviewing people. He's going, like, he's visiting places around the country and trying to understand things and yada, yada, yada. But some of the most amazing moments is he actually does get a certification of sorts that takes about 35 minutes. And the best part about it is anytime he goes to interview somebody, he literally flashes his card. We'll just call it a DEI card, because there's stuff I just gotta be very careful here. Really, really, really careful. But there's even a point where, you know, again, as the movie progresses, he even kind of establishes we'll just call it an experiment, a hypothetical The Washington Monument. You might know it, you might not. Look it up. It's the giant building in DC. It was in the first Spider-Man Homecoming. And so he had an idea about what to do with that monument. And as an experiment, he wanted to see who would actually back that experiment. And it is very telling. And I think the reason I'm giving you some of these examples in the movie is because I will end this episode very briefly in relation to kind of what it all means in my viewpoints, if you haven't gathered already. But at the same time, I just want to encourage you because we live in a very unique society right now, a very different time in America, around the world. And when you bring around the DEI topic, when you bring around the inclusion and diversity aspect, I always go back to, but what about diversity and inclusion of thought? Because it doesn't seem to be allowed. It really, really doesn't. And that's something I won't ever be afraid to speak out about, because people are allowed to have different viewpoints. And just because your viewpoint doesn't align with a certain viewpoint, specifically in relation to what this film is all about, you are blasted every ism, every ist, every phobic you can think of. But the actual reality of it is, it's the complete opposite. And to think that on somebody simply based off of a different opinion, this is where I will be blunt, is lunacy. It really, really is lunacy, because how do you expect to move forward when you simply can't accept the fact that somebody else is different? So the entire messaging around it is to include everybody, but yet you're not allowing everybody. That is the simplest explanation I can provide you. So the end of the film, Matt Walsh has gone through all these interviews with people. He's obviously checked out these classes. He even goes to a dinner where some individuals decide to tell their side of things in regards to how America is the most horrible place on the planet, amongst other details you can imagine. And then he ends the film by literally doing his own class, as if like a teacher created their own curriculum. Matt Walsh creates his own curriculum around DEI. It is like, you will laugh for 90 plus minutes, I swear to God, because of just how incredibly done this is, how incredibly cringe this is, but how incredibly, again, gotta choose the right words here, how incredibly truthful, informative, factual that it is, because we all know what this all means, the agendas and the politics currently going on in today's world, specifically around the election. We all know certain things have happened in the world right now because potentially of certain things like DEI, inclusion, diversity. And it's just, I have to give Matt Walsh so much respect, because he is metaphorically going into the lion's den. And he not only is, like, my interpretation of this is, he's not going in there, he's not doing this just to tell a story. He's doing it to show everybody else what it really is. And I think that's, again, that is as kind of as close as I can go without going down bad roads that would get me in trouble. So I hope that makes sense. I really, really do. I'm sure it doesn't at all, but at the same time, I want to point it out, the fact that it is a masterpiece in comedy. We used to have it in today's world. We really, really did. And sure, you can take the fact that, well, Matt Walsh is basing the comedy off of these certain topics, individuals, communities, etc., so on and so forth, and that's on him. I will step my back I will step aside on that. I will step back on that. But I simply just, again, want to get across the fact that this film will, I mean, even if you are somebody who is aligned with these individuals in the film, I hope it's a wake-up call in relation to what I'm describing as well. That it is okay to be different. It is okay to have a different thought. It is okay to have diversity of thought, to be inclusive in your own thoughts around certain subjects and or things. Morals, dignity, family, the whole 9 yards. This does not have to be black and white. This can be in the gray area. It can be both. I've always said this 1,000 million times, and I won't bore you to tears. What it comes down to is two of my greatest friends on the planet right now are African American and Asian American. They're some of the most amazing people on the planet. You've seen them on this channel at San Diego Comic-Con. But I'm also a Trump supporter because, God forbid, we go through another 4 years like we have, and we all end up either melted from nuclear war, we're all killing each other because of a civil war, or something worse. Trump is the only one right now that is giving you more money. He is going to make sure you are safe and actually gives a shit about you. The other side, to go down the politics, I know, shocking, who'd have thought we'd have gone there. The other side has been in charge for what, 12 of the last 16 years? Promoting change this, change that, inclusion this, diversity that. But why are we worse off? It's a rhetorical question. We all know why we're worse off. So, when you have people like Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire that are doing these things, that are doing these movies, that are doing these experiences, I dip my hat because, quite frankly, it needs to happen. The world needs to see it. These own people, these other communities need to see it. Just so that hopefully one day, because whether it's Hollywood, whether it's the politics, you know what we talk about on this channel, what is kind of going on in this film, in my opinion, is on the way out. Because it simply doesn't work. I'm a 90s kid where we grew up in quite possibly one of the most peaceful, and I know I'll get shit for this, but I think the 90s was honestly one of the most peaceful time periods ever in this country. And I also say when 2001 hit, 9/11, when that terrorist attack happened, the next day, you have never seen a united America like it. Ever. You have never seen it before. And because of things like what Matt Walsh is trying to portray through his content, you won't ever get that back unless you start showing the world what it is, and at the same time hopefully get these other individuals to see these other people like me and think, he's not such a bad guy after all. Am I wrong? I know I'm going to be wrong to some. Some might hate every ounce of this. Some might see it and go, he's got a point. I don't know. Let me know. Seriously. Let's talk about it in the comments. Join me on a dual video stream thing and let's talk about this stuff. Just be respectful. Don't be hateful. Don't be a douche. Let's be human beings. And that's it. So, I really do think the first movie in 2024, that Spot of Nerd, is giving 4 cups of tea out of 4 cups of tea from yours truly, Spot of Nerd. I really am. It is just that good. And if you can find a theater that's playing it, that it isn't going to give you shit, go and check it out right now. I promise you will not be disappointed at all. Thank you guys so much. If you got this far, I super appreciate all the love and support. I hope you got what I was trying to get across here. There's a lot of details that I just ain't gonna touch yet. I mean, again, we're gonna see how the future holds. But I hope it made sense in some form or another. Until next time, folks, we will see you guys next time. Later, y'all. The really sad part about all of it, and I do mean this as a sad thing, when you buy a ticket to see this film, and I live in the Pacific Northwest, so you can imagine how fun that is being a white conservative. It's just really sad that when you buy a ticket to see a certain type of film, you just get treated like absolute shit. Like dirt. Like dog shit. All because I bought a ticket to see a movie. And I think that's the whole point of all of this is where I'll say the exposure of, is this really what they want? By they, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together. Because I just wanted to watch a film. And I could just feel the negativity, the level of hate that was, I don't know what the right word is, but you could just feel it from the attendants that worked at this theater. And it's sad. It really, really is, because I'm simply a paying Patreon. I just wanted to go watch a film. Who knows? What if I aligned with this film in relation to what the topics were discussed? What then? You won't know, because you simply presume. And that's the shit that needs to stop. Stop presuming just because X, Y must be Z. You're just doing your own self a disservice. It really, really is. That's all it is. You're doing yourself a disservice. And quite frankly, I'd ask you to look in the mirror and go, do I really believe what I do? Because my actions speak a hell of a lot louder than my own words. But that's just me.